I now want to turn to the issues of access. My colleague has talked about the needs of the Supreme Court to reconcile the rights of doctors and patients. And although the Supreme Court didn't compel doctors to provide an assisted death, that is not something that we argue for. We believe every physician should have the right to refuse to either prescribe or administer medication. But we think it's critical that patients' rights be acknowledged too. And simply allowing doctors to turn their backs on patients and walk away does not serve patients or the healthcare system well. Patients must not just be left with yellow pages and information to find their own doctor. They need support and access. And we think there's a very expeditious way that the committee can recommend this happen. It's through transfer of care. Quebec's legislation talks about a doctor notifying their institution. That would be an acceptable solution to us. What we do not believe is that patients should be left to fend for themselves, and in the event that doctors are not providing in the event that there is not a system in place to expedite care, then the responsibility must fall on doctors to provide effective solutions and effective referral. Ultimately, the healthcare system must be here to support patients, not to answer to the wishes of doctors. And finally, I'd like to talk about the roles of institutions. In Quebec, in the final bill, there was some concessions made where standalone hospice palliative care facilities were allowed to choose not to provide an assisted death. We have also heard from many religiously affiliated institutions that they do not believe that assisted death should be provided on their premises. We do not accept that bricks and mortar have a right of conscience. If a taxpayer-funded institution has patients that are eligible for assisted dying, they must provide it. It is not up to them to deny patients their charter right, nor can they discipline doctors who are acting on their conscience to provide a qualified patient within a framework of the law the right to that assisted death that they seek.
And if I may ask, Ms. Morris, because when I looked at your legislative frameworks that your organization put forward, there was a system for mandatory referrals. And part of it, first of all, I wanted to ask, you restricted it to physicians and pharmacists in that framework. Why was that?
So we believe that ultimately a patient should have an effective referral, but if that can be accomplished by a transfer of care, we're happy to work with others and achieve a reasonable result. I'm not sure where it says just physicians and pharmacists, where we saw those as sort of the two potential stoppages where a physician wouldn't refer or a pharmacist wouldn't fill a prescription. But certainly we think no healthcare professionals should be able to obstruct the process.